made it sound fancy.
When we did the first tour thing, and I think we lost we interviewed this one comic, Jason Collins. So this is what my first tour thing. I'd only been doing comedy for less than a year. And it's a whole long story, but I was like, let's do this thing. So I managed to finagle doing 30 minutes at a casino in Crescent City, California. Nobody knows where that is. It is the worst place. Have you seen Silent Hill, the movie? This is where it must have been filmed. So it was just a horror town. It was all meth. It was men trying to scream at frogs. And I had even told the booker, I was like, I won't make a meth joke. And he was like, they love the meth jokes. And they did. So I opened for this comic, and he's like a big, successful LA comic. We interviewed him there, lost the audio, interviewed him in his house, forgot all of our stuff, had to take a 50-minute Uber ride back to our hostel where we stayed with 8 other German kids. As a 30-year-old man, drove back, lost that footage. So Jason Collins, I'm sorry. I have nothing. We failed so utterly terribly.
We at SLO Cider do love Crescent and all of our fans there that enjoy cider, SLO Cider products.
That's one of your biggest accounts is the Crescent City Valley Elk Casino. Yeah.
Thanks for getting us in there.
Shout out to Elk Casino.
But really happy to be here with a bunch of good apples today. So we've got, I'm stealing Nate's jokes. If we want to go down the line, we've already at this point met everyone. Nate hasn't got to introduce himself. I'll start down the line again.
Hi, my name is Pete Ayer, and I do marketing and branding for SLO Cider.
Yeah.
My name's Nate Adamski, and I am the operations manager.
Jeremy Fleming here. I am the head cider maker at SLO Cider.
And actual operations manager.
Who's in the facility the most?
It's kind
Jeremy.
Yeah, that's definitely between Nate and I. I'm probably here a little bit earlier, but I also leave earlier than Nate does. So Nate gets in a little bit later and stays later.
Yeah, I come in later, then I stay later. Yep.
What are you doing here?
I call people and I say that you have to pay me, and I pay bills and I ignore bills, and I'm just everyone's buddy.
You gaslight the IRS.
Yeah, I gaslight them so hard.
You have the type of voice that would intimidate somebody who needs to pay a bill over the phone.
Thank you.
It's very serious and droning if you need it to be.
When I'm nervous though, it changes completely.
What does it sound like? Here, let's do a mock phone call right now.
Yeah.
I represent Elk Valley Casino, and your cider is dog shit. I'm not gonna pay your bill because a bunch of liberals down in San Luis Obispo, bunch of betas. Why don't you come up here and take the bill from me? Also, we're casually business because we're a struggling casino in a former port town.
Well, thank you so much for your business and appreciate the feedback. And absolutely, sir, have a wonderful, good day.
I lost my wife last week. I apologize for my previous outburst. I will pay this week.
Wow.
That was very effective.
You lost your wife.
Well, don't laugh at the man. No, Jesus Christ.
You can't tell it's a cry. That's how I cry.
No wonder when your child was born, you're like, oh, look at that thing. Look at that sack of bones.
Your wife deserved to die. She's happier now.
Yeah, she lives in Crescent
You're a
City.
piece of shit. Pay me.
Shout out to all the SLO Cider.
Shout out. No, honestly, no. Yeah, we love you.
All right, so how did you guys meet? Some of this from Pete, but 3 different. You were already brewing, you were already marketing, and you have been in the industry basically since high school. You worked in Apple.
College.
Same thing.
Yeah. I met Jeremy working at a beer fest. I was working for another company at the time, and I was working at another company at the time. I don't know. I always like the guy that puts it way too close to the mouth. So I was over.
You can do it.
Okay. All right.
Get into
I feel comfortable. Like I just want to know that I'm doing it right.
Right. Sounds like a comptroller.
I met Jeremy at a beer fest. I was working for another company, and I was under the impression that if you were talented in the industry, you had to have like this weird evil ego and treat people like absolute crap. And it just, because there was a lot of brewers back then that thought they were like sent by God to ferment, regardless of their skills. And then I was at this beer fest, and then the guy next to me was this handsome man right here, Jeremy, and his beer was amazing. He was very fun to talk to about it. Fell in love instantly, but essentially learned like, oh, you can be really talented, like charismatic, and make awesome beer. Like they're not mutually exclusive traits. And ever since that moment, I've been like, dude, I wish I worked for him, and not the person that I used to work for. That's all.
Yeah, the person you used to work for, are they still in business?
They are no longer in the Apple business. No.
The Apple business?
Yeah.
What did they transition to, do you know?
No, I don't. Honestly, I don't.
An Apple man, no more.
No more. Yeah.
So you two met, and then you linked up, and then what was the next step?
Well, I kind of met Pete. I found his website, honestly, and I was like, this guy's in charge. He does all the cool logos in town. Like every logo that I remember and recognize as a kid, he's had his work on it.
Because you grew up in it.
Yeah. And I was like, well, who's the guy that like makes the brands that like are impactful and meaningful? And I was like, oh, this guy. And then we had a meeting with him, and you gave a really good presentation on scalability and logos. I remember that. And
It was tight.
And then like a week later, the company I used to work for fell apart. The company I wanted to start, I was like, Jeremy, we have a history. Would you want to do this? And he was like, probably. I want to see the details. But he was went for positive, but like in like, hey, I don't want to,
Shit.
like not like blind faith, but like we were both like on board and talked about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Just important to figure out a plan and have a business plan before you go into any business. So yeah, we just I think we did a really good job on planning everything, putting everything together in the beginning, kind of talking about our goals. The goals like up front in the beginning, and then the long-term goals as well. And I think we just had a really good team to start with. Like you had some experience in the cider industry, which I didn't have. I was in the beer industry, and cider is done totally differently from beer. So, had to learn a lot in the beginning. I had to learn a lot, and then I think it just ended up working out really well once we all got together.
Yeah, and then I was like, hey, also there's this guy Pete. I just met him a week ago. Do you want to show me?
This very deeply thought.
What did he say?
I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, we went into his office, and
There was a lot of skulls.
A lot of skulls. Like Papa Roach was everywhere. Like there were just so many Papa Roach posters everywhere.
Because without context of knowing your relationship with Papa Roach, it does appear that you just, and I'm not saying anything against Papa Roach.
No,
but you would be a Papa Roach super fan.
Yeah,
Super.
fanboy.
So
And
were you pitched as a partner to begin with equity, or?
So originally we were working with a previous cider company, and that was just, contract basis. And then when Nate came back and was like, I have a different path I want to take, that was an equity opportunity. And the rest was history. It's pretty cool. I really like to work with the companies from an equity standpoint. There is a difference when you're getting a paycheck versus you're getting potential growth in a company, and it's attractive after working a lot of years and just cutting checks or getting checks and
Watching morons get rich.
well, not morons, just
Fucking morons.
it is challenging to watch, some of the products and services you do for people, grow them exponentially, and you're just kind of capped, like you can only do so much. Inevitably, a lot of designers do get into a product or service that is ownership and use their fruits of their labor.
Yeah, I also,
The fruit puns too, guys. It's kind of my game.
right. Well, I also think that, just touching on the whole vested interest thing, I think one of the reasons why we have such great branding is because, like, honestly, seems like you think about it quite often. It's on your mind. You're invested, in the company in a way that is not just like getting paid to do the thing. Like, you're like, okay, how can we take this to the next level? How can we make this better at all times? If you're just paying a branding guy to do something like that, they're not going to have the long-term best interest of the company in mind. So I think, being a part of the company, being a partner is allowing you to kind of do a better job than maybe you could have done as just being paid to do the job.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that we were going to be like exploring our partnership during this. I thought we were going to talk about like how SLO Cider is the best cider company in San Luis Obispo, and we're coming for you.
Well, that's proven that it's 11 a.m. and I've had 2. So that's none of this is plugged in. I have no home. I use a house service website and I keep going to businesses and I'm like, your pizza place looks like a great interview opportunity.
Yeah.
Your Domino's franchise. I just happen to have my camera with me.
We should have packets. Yeah. Show me how to make a pepperoni.
I hear you're the best heroin dealer in town.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick interview. Yeah, that was a rough one.
That could happen. Yeah. I'm sure you can.
The camera's doing this whole time. It's like, oh, fuck. You started off in brewing, but you're kind of hands off now, and you're mostly business side?
Well, yeah, I learned really early on that I'm bad. Like, I'm not good at it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, that was the part I wasn't good at.
What was the shittiest part for you? What was the hardest part in the day?
Oh, all of it. Like sticking with the schedule, cleanliness, heights, waking up early,
Right.
just like pressurized, explosive, dangerous equipment that I have to understand. Generally the smell, the yeast,
Yeah, stop talking.
boiling water, other brewers.
Well, it's the reason I asked is because everything. Yeah, so you did say every single aspect, so it's fascinating that this is your entire company. And but again, SLO Cider, best cider you're ever gonna have.
And I didn't make it.
Well managed. The reason I asked is because we were doing this and we went by the microscope. I worked in the cannabis business briefly. We kind of talked about that, and what we were discussing is how a lot of people who enter it with like a passion, whether that's wine, beer, cannabis, it's the passion and thinking it's a very easy flowing industry, and then it's microscope science, formulas, equipment, and you have to be, as we discussed earlier, able to replicate something day in, day out.
Yeah.
And that is absent. So you must have more of an analytical, not that you don't have an analytical mind, you run numbers, but that was kind of its passion mixed with being able to do something day in, day out, kind of on a minute. I shouldn't say that. What word would you use to do this? What's a chef? Discerning, anal, a bit anal.
A bit anal,
Yeah.
definitely.
You ever wear a clean home?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
I'm so glad you said home.
No,
SLO Cider, the most LGBT friendly cidery in the city.
no, absolutely, man.
Yes, correct.
That's a good way to
You're like,
yeah. So what I'm doing in here is absolutely necessary for you to be able to do things consistently. So taking the right readings, keeping notes is very important. I come from a bit of an engineering background, so that comes into play here as well. But I've done a lot of things. In all honesty, I've done construction. I've been a baker before. I've worked out at our local nuclear power plant for a little while. So a lot of those things actually come into play here. My comfortability level in working with pressurized equipment, like Nate was saying, comes from me being around other really big pieces of equipment that can potentially harm you. So being safe, in the work environment is very important. But then also, like I was saying, taking notes is really important as well, because, if you screw something up, which I've definitely screwed things up, I've made bad beers, I've made bad ciders, but I don't do that anymore because I learned from my mistakes, took the right notes, asked people what I did wrong, learned from other people in the industry, and eventually I was able to make better product. And that's why we got to the point where we are right now.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll pump that up in post. Cider competitions. What are you guys doing over the next 12 months? Any?
In terms of competitions, I don't know
There is
many that are coming
There's
up
nothing.
here in the near future, but the most recent one that we did, we sent some product into the Great American Cider Festival, and so that's a pretty big one. We actually sent in something like 9 different ciders, and I think we got 7 medals, and possibly 4 of those were gold. So I think we got like 4 gold, 2 silver, and a bronze out of all of those products that we sent
And
in.
this is like against like big old style East Coast cideries that have been established for a long time.
Yeah, so that felt pretty good.
You got nothing on us East Coast?
Where are you at? 4 years?
We're young. We opened March 13th, 2020.
That was it. Was so you did open the doors, right?
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't
in the fourth
jinxed
year.
at all.
Yeah.
So COVID was our fault.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make that joke. It was in my head. It was borderline. Anyways,
What's in your head?
Oh, usually. Don't worry, none of this is true. None of it will play against your business.
Let's explore that. A lot of
is all my
slurs.
brand.
A lot of slurs in the head.
I just don't like Eskimos. I've got my own relationship.
What's the beef?
I don't like Eskimo pies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was a fat kid. That's their fault.
So if you see a person that you think of as that scenario, you're gonna.
George Bush Sr. made me fat.
Is he an Eskimo?
I don't know. I mean, he's dead, and most Eskimos are. So anyways,
George Bush Sr. is not dead.
is he still alive?
No, George Bush Sr. is 1,000% dead.
George W?
No. George Bush, his dad.
Right.
George W. Dad, our former president George Bush, has been dead for years.
Dick Cheney's still alive.
I knew that.
Donald Rumsfeld and Henry Kissinger.
I don't think Donald Rumsfeld's still alive.
That's right, he did die.
I keep track of this stuff.
Let's you've got the chalkboard.
Yeah, dude.
Evil man.
You know who out lead them all is
Yeah, my
Mitch.
boy.
Yeah, that's your boy. Big fan of the Patriot.
Dude, I've always loved Rumsfeld, man. All the guys.
Rumsfeld is an animal, man.
Yeah.
Kissinger is still alive. Henry Kissinger.
Yeah, that is an immortal being that will never die.
But anyways, yeah, I think the branding thing too is essential because that is, especially old-time business owners, I don't think they get that the lifeblood of a company can be its image, and your first step to buying a product is it makes you feel a certain way. A Snickers is supposed to make you feel full even though it's a candy bar, and a Mercedes automatically makes you feel luxury. You're always going to pay more. I think that Macs have the best marketing in history. Nowadays, it doesn't matter if they don't innovate. Their idea is, uniformity, and they have a backing, and then they have products that all work together. So you look at it and you instantly think it's artsy, it's clean, it's nice, and you're willing to pay a premium. And how many companies, especially like in this space, take as much time as they do to merchandise? We've gone to your office and you have merchandise for multiple different brands. And then you have good merchandise here, and then obviously, is this the original logo you started with?
The logo. I like
That's a
the
good one.
logo.
Yeah.
You can take that.
I just
one for
slipped
free.
out.
It's going to be my San Luis Obispo marketing business, where I go around and eat for free and document.
Yeah. I work with Yelp.
So, yeah. Are you still taking other clients or no? Have you done?
It's very minimal. Because I have had great relations with some of the brands that I've worked for over 10 years now, it's really hard to let someone in and reestablish all 10 years of knowing someone for a couple bucks versus working with someone that has grown with what I've done. And now I reap a bigger benefit because I'm not creating new files. I'm not creating all this new art. I'm not trying to figure out what works for them. We've already crossed all those bridges. So that's kind of where my profit lies. So it's very hard for me to twist that. However, I still do some pro bono work for charities, nonprofits, anything that kind of falls in my lap where it has I didn't do anything for Maui, I'm sorry, but I thought for sure I was gonna someone was going to come to me and be like, hey, we're going to do a thing from Maui. Will you, do this? We did a little bit with the cidery with another food producer, but, like stuff like that, I really like to do. And if I want to do that and it's not paid, then it really limits, smaller companies. And then, of course, friends and family, they're always... I hate, there's nothing worse than a friend or family that goes, what do you think? I just went, on the internet and had this done. And I just swallow it and do it. And it takes me 5 minutes, after doing it for 26 years. It's like...
You got to be legend to enter the pit. The mosh pit.
The mosh pit.
Did you say a legend? Yeah, legendary.
I was trying to think of Papa Roach lyric, just something.
Yeah. Cut my logo into pieces.
There you go, baby. Into a smaller format.
Make sure it's scalable.
It's on Dropbox. There's no code. No, it works on your browser. All right, so March 13th is when you opened. March 14th is when it shut down. Your marketing, did you handle, I'm assuming you took out a business loan to get started, or was it all?
Our finances are undisclosed.
Yeah, the slow mafia would be the laziest.
Yeah, these kids are gonna rot some apples. Put some money on them.
But you've obviously invested.
Yeah.
So and now you're renting this facility.
Yeah.
Started.
Got a really good landlord. That's something that I would. It's like a piece of advice that's hard to like really follow, because a big thing is your landlord kind of becomes a partner, because they have control over, way more than you expect. If you're doing construction, you got to get their approval. Yeah. You got to do all that stuff, and I've seen, they can take the rug out from under you. But if you have like a landlord that you could trust and talk to, and you're a good tenant, then it's the same as like having a good solid partnership. And our landlord has been super helpful, and yeah.
How long did it take you to get the facility ready to?
It's about
18 months.
About that.
Over a year.
So
a year and a half. Yeah.
You for 18 months, a landlord trusts you to do full-out construction. I'm sure you poured cement. Guessing that you could.
Yeah.
You have to change.
We altered a lot of it.
Yeah. We were paying rent that entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're paying rent.
Yeah.
You do a complete rebuild where if you wanted to sell this business, background for people, then this is retrofitted into a different. So if a kitchen wanted to move it, that's going to be different.
Yeah.
So he trusts you.
Yeah,
18 months.
We added a lot of value to it's a mutual thing. Like there's a lot of things in here that if we were to move to a new location, we'll still be here and we'll be brought up to code, and it's like it creates value for his property and it creates value for our business shit.
He puts faith in it. You pay for 18 months, and then you open, and then the world shuts it.
Yeah.
So how are you feeling that week? Was it denial, waiting it out? Fear?
Just total psychosis, yeah.
So you have a 1-year-old, wasn't born, but you have a 3-year-old, right?
Man, I had a 3-year-old that was born 3 months premature.
Real.
And he had just come home from the NICU after 3 months in there, and he was born 1 pound 10 ounces.
And when did you come home in relation to the
March 2nd.
Yeah, Nate had his hands full for sure.
Forgettable.
Actually, just one little tiny handful.
Yeah, just one hand.
Little preemie joke for your preemie audience.
But doing well now.
Oh yeah, he's great. Yeah.
So okay, so this is.
I would not be like that candid if I was like, yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. We gotta laugh. Hey.
But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of work we did for those 18 months. I mean, Jeremy was sitting here building. I was definitely working on the website and branding and showcasing and getting the vibe and all the important stuff that we had to work on. Oh, remember our little flavor tastings? We'd have these little blind taste at the back of the pit, and it was really cool. We had some random friends of ours show up, and we're like, "What do you think? What do you think?" And just really hyper excited. That was super fun. And at the same time, we're watching China make hospitals like in a weekend. We're like, what are they doing?
Weld people into their apartments.
Like, wow, that's so weird.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that would suck.
Anyway, everything's working out pretty great in America right now.
Literally, like,
I want to relate to you guys really quick. This is funny. Where I was in Vacaville at the time.
I called. Oh shit!
I was. Here's what happened. I was in the CBD game at the time. I'd gotten out of cannabis. Mm-hmm. Long story. We'll keep it very short. Urington, Nevada. Nobody knows. 2 hours inland from Reno. So, just forgotten about place. And we operated with a
You talk a lot of crap on the small town.
No one's gonna know!
And fuck that place.
They're gonna know.
Come get me, Urington. You know what happens. Don't come get me. They're tough people.
They're allied. They're unified.
It's 4 hours from Crescent City.
Yes, exactly.
East.
All 52 of you, if you can make it past your crippling lung diseases and sleep apnea, if you could somehow make it in your 200,000-mile Ford Ranger to truck along and find me, and you cannot trip on your way with your gimp leg to get me, come fight.
And you know what? Good on you, man. Keep up that fight.
Thank you for being loyal, slow on your
So yeah, it sounds like what you're about to talk about is gonna be really enthralling. Like,
It actually is.
a good
It's
song.
a murder. I'm not kidding. So I was in the CBD. So my this business partner, his dad was actually the one I mentioned who knew Henry Kissinger, and I take a private jet, which is it's like a Cessna. It wasn't anything crazy. From Urington to it was actually Reno. We had to truck it. It's 200 buckets of CBD oil. Back in the thousands, or excuse me, early 2020, early 2019. If you ever worked in that industry, you know like the game was about oil. At one point, it was probably $2,000. A barrel, then it goes down like 500. It's this weird commodity. So we do it out of this lab in Urington, which is supposed to be licensed. We later found out the man was monitored by Interpol. Whole other side story. So my partner puts me, I wasn't invested in this part, my partner puts me on a Cessna. It's about $200,000 of oil. And I fly from Reno to Portland at night. It's literally me and just buckets. Like not well sealed, just buckets. Like Home Depot buckets with lids. Land in Portland. My partner gets too drunk. The $200,000 oil basically gets stolen by this woman. Basically just gone forever. This is March 2020. Everything's stolen. We lose everything. All the airports are shutting down. I fly to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where I'd just taken a lease on an apartment. The business that we were supposed to do is shut down immediately. I have a lease. My roommates leave. I have $1,800 a month to pay a no job. And then a month later, the woman who robbed us got stabbed to death 52 times.
Wait, so these are the people you just talked crap on?
Well, she's dead.
No, but I mean, not the people that stabbed her.
Oh, no. The Urington people didn't do it. My partner, we're still friends with. His dad, totally fine.
Yeah.
All them, I'm not enemies with. Urington, go fuck yourself. You're a terrible place.
Got it.
Everything smells like cigarettes, even
Got it.
outside.
Yeah.
Crescent City, no, you were fine. You were good. No, a couple ladies really loved my jokes. There's this one woman who had, she said she had 3 kids by 3 different moms. And I joked, it was like, what are they, all tweakers? And she's like, not all of them, too. And the third was an alcoholic, and they all lived in this abandoned motel near our apartment. And then, she said by looking at me, she knew I was fertile. I would trust her opinion.
I would
You got a
second
real
that
fertile
opinion.
face.
Yeah,
Fertile face.
she's doing good. She was a school bus driver. I said, you're in Crescent City.
She sees a lot of
Maybe
faces.
drive your kids to school if you don't have too many DUIs. Pieces of shit.
Well, what other small local towns with great art do you just want to throw under the bus?
I actually love all of them, and most of the
Yeah.
story is about traveling to. Crescent City was bad. Crescent City wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Urington. Hyperbole is funny to me. Anyways, so that's where my March was. I did fly home. Right, I moved in to Chattanooga like the second week, and I remember I landed and I went to my groceries at the Whole Foods because I was like, that will still have food, and there was no toilet paper, and I hadn't heard the news stories yet, and I was like, what is happening at this place? So it shuts down, and then you're gonna have to start driving cans to people. Was that your backup plan? We started delivering to homes.
Hold on. You never got to Vacaville. I've been on the edge of my seat waiting for your Vacaville.
Oh, I was just waiting in my partner's garage. That's usually it.
All right.
After we got robbed,
It wasn't the
we went to
murder.
the safety of Vacaville.
Oh.
And
That's exactly how I think of it,
our
too.
other partner's home. It's a safe place. In one of those developments that are newer, where it's all huge stucco homes that are made out of paper mache.
Yeah.
So like 150 grand, but they're like 3,500 square feet.
Yeah.
That was what we were in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, so we did pivot to cans. It's a really, Nate can take it. It was kind of a necessity.
Yeah, we originally had planned to like slow build with a taste room, build up a membership, build up some some
This is the
locals.
taste room.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and back then, like you would open your doors, people would come to the taste room. The craft industry was thriving before 2020, and then we would slowly start picking up customers and ramp up our production. We were even thinking of renting out some of our tanks to other local producers, thinking that we had overbuilt, but then everything changed really quickly, and we had to pretty much take all the things out that we had put out here and replace this whole space with production. So we had cans, pallets, things like that, and had to go into markets and explain to the people that we're a brand they should buy, even though they'd never seen us, heard of us, or tasted us.
Yeah, but on that note, there were a lot of deliveries not happening. So a lot of other cider companies that were kind of on the shelf were shut down, or they cut their production to a point to where it wasn't making sense for them to not just stay local and kind of see how long the 2 weeks is going to go. So eventually we would walk in and there'd be like empty shelves just like everywhere. And they're like, do you have product on you now, like in your car? And we're like, yeah, we have 4 SKUs. And they're like,
It's demanded.
fill it up. And then, and then by the time everything kind of slowly came back and people started wanting their shelves back, we were there. So that really, just weird lights at different times.
Lights at the end of like a real long, shitty tunnel.
Freaking
Like a
2
real-
weeks. 2-year tunnel. 3-year tunnel. I don't even know how long the tunnel is.
It's not done
Eternal
yet.
tunnel.
We're still dying.
In Tennessee, COVID stopped at this.
Yeah.
It never really started.
Just like bye-bye, grandma, bye-bye, grandpa.
Exactly. They were died of old age before they
The rival age of 52.
It's hard living out there.
Doing what you love, just gasping for air and spinning on the floor.
Like a fish out of the bowl, baby. Shout out Tennessee. Chattanooga is one of my favorite cities. I will go back.
We'll never be in Tennessee, so I'm okay with it.
I wouldn't say that.
Tennessee?
We don't cross our state line right now.
Do you have to get special? Do you get taxed to all L?
Yeah. There's like a different, it's a whole
Different
process.
licenses for every state that you go into. Yeah.
And Nate was always,
Hey, if you want to hear about the licensing, I have a bunch.
Well, we got into about flood insurance earlier. That was really exciting.
If you want to hear
Nate was interesting though. The first thing I want to do was cross state lines. Like, I want to get to Hawaii. I want to get over to my friends in other states. And he's like, there's enough people in California. What a great testament if we can do well in California and sell well locally, this and that. Then we'll take the extra steps to start crossing state lines. And,
I think California is bigger than most nations, right? So and entire industries grow in nations.
And it's very competitive, like the craft market and the shelf right now is, there's a lot of beverages, especially in this town. It's a very beverage savvy town. So
Beverage savvy is a really fun way of putting it.
beverage savvy.
They're like,
My uncle died of being too sad.
he was real beverage savvy.
Yeah, in 2023, we got to change our terms. He went on dialysis for being too smart about his beverage. He knew too much.
He did his own
about
research.
Busch Light.
I thought you were going to say Michelob Ultra.
SLO Cider also.
I got made fun of once for ordering Michelob Ultra, and then I never ordered it again.
And then now it's like the best selling, it's the number 2 selling beer in America now.
Is it?
Under Modelo.
Yep.
Modelo is numero uno.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
So if someone makes fun of you one time, you never do it again?
Easily, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
A lot of fruitful careers of mine.
Just ended.
Oh, well, you're a lawyer?
I thought you were doing
Working harder, hardly working.
nice fruit joke.
Yeah, exactly. Well, see, I already. All
Wrap it
right.
up.
He wants equity.
Please nobody make fun of me for being a documentarian. Because I'll stop this interview right now. What's on your socks?
That's my boy.
You clicked on one of those Instagram ads?
On there.
You want your family members on your socks?
Fuck yeah, dude.
That's actually rad.
My wife gave it to me once for Father's Day,
Oh.
and I should, for my birthday and Father's Day, forever until I die, just put my kid's face on the sock.
Oh, they're cool.
Yeah.
And it really brightens up the ugliest shoes I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. These, as soon as your first child is born, the
That's
doctor
it,
hands you the boy, and he hands you these beat up hiking shoes.
He's like, you have a choice. You have these or you have K-Swiss.
Yeah. And you go, you know what? I really like the arch support on this.
Yeah.
I really like the arch support. Yeah. It's great. Because it's good for hiking, casualness, and it goes well with formal wear too, right, guys?
What's your promo code for these?
Promo code DadLife. Promo code
Dad. Boy dad.
promo code. It's not easy, is it, dads?
I'm gonna rub my eyes.
Boy dad sounds.
Boy dad does sound
Boy dad sounds weird.
Boy dad is a big community in San Francisco.
Good for them, man.
Boy dad's for life, dude.
Yeah.
I learned what pup play was recently. Do you know what that is?
We're about to.
Pup play. P-U-T. Pup play.
Tell us about butt play.
It's basically where a younger, skinnier gay man is attached to a very big one, and then they dress him with like a collar and like dog ears and stuff.
Yeah, SLO Cider does not yuck anyone's yum, too, so. You do you.
So that's like
Bring your pups in.
We are dog friendly.
yeah, I'm always out. Like furry, it's like a furry next level.
No, I think it's below it because they don't wear like a suit. It's more of just. I think it's more the submission aspect of it. If you'd like to call in to our live line,
Yeah. If you're following him on Instagram, you might want to hit that unfollow button now.
speaking
Yeah, I
of
was at the Angels.
very funny things, you have an open mic here.
Why ever look at me?
That's his thing.
No, yeah, we do. It's super fun. Ernie, our buddy, does You Had to Be There comedy, and he kind of wanted to produce an open mic locally, and he had hit me up, and I was like, open mic. I just kept thinking of like poetry and old women playing old guitars.
Stuff like we really like, what the community needs.
Yeah, exactly. More poetry.
Yeah. But then he's like, no, really, comedians trying to work their, jokes out. I was like, oh, well, everyone in the company is super funny. We should do that here.
Have you gone up?
I have not got up. I don't.
Jeremy hasn't even come to a show. Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't give me that. I'm actually usually here pretty early. Well,
Yeah, Jeremy
comes
I'm
on.
not a terribly funny human being, but I would be happy to go up there and
Oh,
do something. I don't know.
Self-awareness
Drum roll.
is the first step.
yeah. But yeah, it's super fun. And we have now, with a little bit of smoke and mirrors, it's a cool stage, and it's a hot room, and Ernie has done a great job making the community aware, because he's obviously the connection to the comics, and now we have customers coming.
Yeah.
And dude, yeah, there's been some amazing moments, and you had to be there.
Nice, dude.
The branding.
Why did
Follow that. I got you. Yeah, way to go, guys.
shit?
Sorry,
I actually have to go too.
All right.
So I just make a text.
Parting words you want to say?
We have the gateway cider to your financial and flavorful freedom.
That was good.
The Gateway Cider. We just.
What's the gateway
Hey,
to?
what does that mean? What is it going to?
For all them beer drinkers and hard drinkers, we're the gateway into a much better drink. Like seltzer, that sounds kind of weird. I didn't mean to make it sound like that. But seltzer and even like mom and pop cider and all these other alternative drinks, hard kombucha, they're good. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, stop drinking brain juice beer.
Yeah, but I have major faith in our product. Jeremy has secrets up his sleeve of how to make it really delicious. And I'm not saying that because I am a partner. I'm saying that because I will do blind taste tests and put clout behind our product against others, as it's refreshing and it matters.
Before you go, you've been open for 3 years, and part of that was through COVID. It's kind of a lost period. 3 years from now, where do you see yourself at this company?
Oh, I think it's going to be a wild ride. I think I'd say within probably a couple years, we'll be in some much more major markets, like anywhere from like retail stores, grocery stores. I'm hoping concert venues and potential sports stadiums and events that have more than 5, 10, 15, 20,000 people. You know, if we can produce it, they will come. I swear.
If any dead president could drink SLO cider, who would you want to drink it?
That's not hella weird.
Yeah, I would say Harding probably.
Well,
Yeah.
did one of them like apples more than the other?
Already died, right?
Most of them have died.
Yeah, the majority.
They do.
Oh, that'd be John Adams.
There he goes. There he goes. Drum roll.
Guys. I was definitely going to go with Lyndon B. Johnson. Old drink for old man.
Yeah.
He used to piss on journalists in the White House lawn.
That's why you want. That's why. Yeah, it'd be a hard man to stand next
He
to.
kept pulling his dick out all the time. Not a joke. Not a bit
Yeah.
at all. Yep. It would be interesting to see if Kennedy drank it. You think it would help or hurt if Kennedy was holding it when it happened?
But what happened?
Holding LBJ or
Yeah, you know, when the thing happened.
When he talked about going to the moon.
Kennedy?
Yeah.
Oh, he got shot in the head.
when he was
He's not
holding
lying.
this when he was holding the cider
This is the gotcha journalism that I think.
when it was
I think
He's
Gabe,
like, the camera's there, and he's like, what? Oh? And then,
no.
you don't think it would help? I don't think anyone
I don't want to associate our
I don't know where this is.
one of the biggest national tragedies.
think he would have to rebrand.
Yes.
Or-
Yeah.
What car was he?
What flavor was it?
What the
It's
flying
a
fuck?
Lincoln Continental.
All right, well, no, they're not made anymore, so to your point.
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
There you
John
go.
Adams, Harding, and Kennedy. I like that.
I think. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. Not gonna touch
I think
it.
I actually would have gone with Teddy Rose.
Teddy Rose.
Teddy. Oh yeah.
Because he would have been doing
He's not bad.
Yeah, we gave it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rode on a moose and tried it out, and he said bully good, and we said,
The guy that just keeps saying he's Teddy Roosevelt
Yeah.
around here.
yeah, that guy. You met him?
Yeah. Yeah, you got some colorful characters here. Okay, well, I guess, so 3 years, I'm going to ask the same question. Logistically, like, truly, how many accounts do you have right now? I would say you can parcel it out between stores and then restaurants.
I think we have like over 400, maybe close to 500 accounts right now.
Yeah. I think it's in the mid fours.
What
Yeah.
do you prefer to be? Is it the restaurant game or the what store game?
I would say I do prefer any customer that works with us that has fun with the product. Like there are definitely some customers that are great. You drop it off, they sell it, they pay you, blah blah blah. But there's other customers that like they want a fun neon sign in the wall, or like the Madonna Inn locally is one of our fun ones. They have us all over. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah.
Talk to you about more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just like all businesses that we meet. Some people are excited about working the relationship and trying to find different ways to inform the customer without being boring or without necessarily having them taste it. I mean, it's kind of like a big thing is what we do is we have a facade, we've put our brand into it, and the flavor's great, but we have to have them open that can and taste it. So hopefully everything up until that point is a great cohesive effort with retailers and people that are with us and stand with our product.
Right. I think in 3 years from now, I do see us being a little bit more into the grocery market game because I feel like a lot of product is sold out of grocery markets in Southern California, Northern California, what have you. So I think entering into like a lot of the Albertsons groups, Vaughn's, what have you, would probably be super beneficial for us.
Trader Joe's,
and
Whole Foods.
Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, all those guys. Really, I think that would be probably one of our bigger goals.
The Elks Casino in Preston.
Yeah.
Shout out Preston.
Counts.
Yeah, definitely getting into grocery stores. I think that's a really big deal for us here in the near future. We definitely have quite a few already, but getting into all these different big groups throughout California is really going to help us.
Are you worried about competition?
You worried about what?
There we go. A true Alan Iverson answer.
No, I don't think there is competition against our product. I think there's competition on how to get past other businesses. You know what I mean? Like
I would say, yeah. Sorry.
they're just I feel like the bigger we get, the more strategy there is on suppressing our product instead of us. Like, right, we're just like new on the town and we have a killer product, so it just gets out. There are people already on top, you know, so they're constantly finding or figuring out how to not keep us down, but how to be like, it's coming up. And we're like, how do we get up there? And they're like, how do we stay down there? You know, marketing wise.
Right. But on the other hand, we were just talking about this earlier, is that there are only like 90 cideries in California at this time, where there's like 1,000 breweries.
Yeah.
So we're still in this like fledgling market that is growing significantly. Every single year, we take a little bit more of the alcohol market. That sliver grows every single year. So potentially, you know, our customers that have never had cider before, you know, they're like, oh, damn, I didn't realize I actually liked cider. They have one of these ciders and they're like, damn, you turned me on to cider. I don't know if I'm going to be drinking other stuff from here on out, you know? So I think competition-wise, we're not going to see that for
the market still needs to expand, I think, quite a bit. I think there's still a lot of room for even more ciders and well-made cider. It's kind of like in the cider game, everyone who makes good cider is helping lift up cider for everybody. Because if you drink one cider here and it's good, then you're going to be more open to drink a cider there. I think there was a problem back in the day when it was like there was some bad ciders on the market, or ciders that weren't necessarily what people wanted to drink. So they'd be like, oh, I had Angry Orchard, that's not my jam. I don't like that flavor, so I don't like cider. So they would see cider and not buy it. But now it's like if you go and you get like Reverend Nat cider up in Oregon, or you get like Lost Boys cider, and you're like, that's a great cider. And now I'm a cider drinker. I go to other places, I drink the cider there. So like it's just an expanding, growing community.
Yeah, we hear that a lot too. People come in here for tastings, and or their friends brought them, and after about the third time, they're like buying cider over their previous beverage, which is crazy. Like, let's see. Yeah, no, it's good.
It's the only alcohol that I know where like you'll have a full-grown adult walk in and go like, I've never had cider before. Versus like if someone's 45-year-old and they're like, I've never had beer, you're like, well, what do you get? Are you safe? What do you need? But like if they've never had cider, it's like it's fun to be there the moment they try it and they go, whoa, I didn't expect that flavor, and I like it.
What do you guys think of Mike's Hard Lemonade?
Mike's Hard Lemonade, high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot when I was like an 8th grader.
Oh yeah, dude, he's a cool guy.
Zima with some lemonade.
There we go, a Zima reference.
That's right, Mike. Who's hard now?
I mean, I think they were genius for what they did.
That ad campaign turned that stuff around.
That was a really fun time in the industry when masculinity was when they were trying to use masculinity to sell beverages that were traditionally considered feminine, like Mike's Hard Lemonade,
Twisted Tea,
all this is like, well, I'm bro, I'm ready to drink some hard cider. Exactly.
And then it just went right into seltzer.
Which do you know the video of the guy getting hit in the face with a Twisted Tea can? It was really popular.
It worked though, it didn't.
They sold a lot more after that, or
Yeah, it happened in Lorain, Ohio, right outside of where I live. But it's a video where a white guy is colloquially there's a term for white gentlemen who act of a different ethnicity, and he was using a word that is reserved to a different ethnicity. Not to be malicious.
What word is that?
It rhymes with good friend. See nothing. I got you. It's all orange. This is all endorsed by SLO Cider, but he's just like in an argument with him at a gas station, and so he's saying things, and the man he's speaking to, a Clevelander, has his Twisted Tea like down here, and then he just goes, "What?" And he whaps the man in the face with a Twisted Tea. It splits and it falls. And then have a lot of fun edits online. I'll show it to you after. Including the Dave Matthews Band song, which is one where it's like, clap. And it falls. Clap. And so it just keeps happening. Him slapping him in the face with a Twisted Tea.
There's almost a liquor store. The guy's like, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
And he like pauses, and the guy's like, it's what I and he just
smacks him harder than you've ever seen a man hit.
Yeah.
Was that a Twisted Tea?
shit.
Cider, as far as I know, has not been used in any sort of like Oh yeah, I said yeah.
I'll carry one. Look, if you sponsor us, I'll carry one around me at all times, and I'll commit.
If you sponsor, is that what this was all about? Sponsorship?
Our sponsorship includes 1 free hat,
Yeah.
3 cans of cider a month,
Yeah.
mailed to me illegally over the border of California.
We didn't discuss that.
We did not.
Did you read the fine print of your release forms? I didn't have to sign.
I'm thinking of this microphone. You agreed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite flavor?
Like Beyond Dry?
Is flavor even the right word? Is that like...
Yeah.
We like to
That's
say
fair.
taste experience.
I'll never say that in my life.
What taste experience would you like to enjoy?
That's what they say at the froyo shop.
Do you want to like it, love it, or gotta have it size?
I have this idea for an ice cream store. I want to call it chunks. I have a whole idea for it. But I'm gonna every size, the largest one. I'm gonna call it like Big Tubby Boy. And you have to say, you can't be like, I'll have that one. I'll be like, which one do you want? They're like, it's that one. I'll be like, say it to me. They'll be like, I want the Big Tubby Boy. And I'll be like, louder, Big Tubby Boy. So, and then I'm gonna make the entryway bigger than the exit, and you have to exit out a certain way. So if you're too big, you gotta squeeze
I
through.
feel like that's gonna cause some awesome customer relations.
That's good branding.
Yeah, I think it's solid branded.
Look, no press is bad for us. What's your favorite taste experience?
Outside of dry, because I like the dry a lot. I'm not a sweet person. I like the tropical, which is our Pog passion fruit orange guava flavor, and then Jeremy came out with a batch of black currant, currant, whatever it is, and kind of blown away. Some fruits work really well with the apple base. Most of them actually are totally fine, but some of them are different. And that is just one of them that just tastes like, I don't know, like higher quality, or it's like the Louis Vuitton flavor for me. It's just like fancier. The pinky slowly rises as you drink it. Yeah, those are my two, like outside of dry.
I like it.
Well, I like to party, so I find that my vibe.
My name's Nate.
What's
I like to
what's
party.
up? My name's Nate. I don't know why. After your serious answer, I thought I'd
Pick a flavor. Look at 'em.
My favorite taste experience is right now is the agave lime. I think it's fun. I think it's a unique. Jeremy made a really fun spin on some like traditionally margarita ingredients, and I think it's a solid beverage. Yeah.
Yeah, right. In terms of favorites that I have right now going on, probably the oak cider. In all honesty, it's like oaked, medium toast French oak on the dry cider. I really love Scotch, so I like smoky kind of. Like it smoky, like the wood characters in there. But yeah, I do that oaked, well over oaked for most people, so maybe you like a little bit of oaked and great, but I do a lot more oak than most people would actually put in anything.
We get the oldest tree we can find.
Basically, just crazy amounts of oak, to where, I love it, but not everybody does. So I make that cider specifically to kind of my preference, and a lot of people like it, but
You know what a lot of people do too is they mix oak and with other flavors.
Right.
It's pretty hip, secret tasting room tales.
I'm gonna ask 2 questions specific to you. One, how old are you?
I'm 36.
All right. 2, your music genre, I'm gonna guess, is either late 90s, early 2000s alternative and grunge, or prog rock.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, no,
Just
I
kidding.
like Metallica. I like
What's your favorite Metallica?
actually the symphony orchestra in Metallica, the first version. Yeah, it's S&M.
He's an enigma, right?
I'm a Kill 'Em All man.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
a soul man.
All right.
Do you like Tool?
I love Tool.
I knew it! Oh, I was gonna start with Tool!
All right.
Narrowed it down to there, baby! I fucking got it!
What do you think we listened to when we were building this place?
That's my seat. I'm sorry, I didn't want to make a debate.
You did all right. Speaking of, that might be a good time for my exit at least. You
Thank
want
you,
to?
everybody. I'm going to promote the website, Instagram handle. Anything else that you want promoted, we'll add to the end.
Well, that's all included in our sponsorship, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's for the premium tier.
We're gonna be behind the paywall on the.
You gotta see the package of the heroin dealer offered me. That wild. It's mostly old vinyls of Blu-ray.
Oh, that's great.
Well, hey, thank you, dude.
Yeah, that's right. That was a lot of fun.
Episode will probably drop from today in probably 3 weeks.
Right on.
Full episode. Interviews will come up.
Go follow Dennison.
Thank you guys. All right, good
Next episode with Elon Musk.
time.
Word.
All right,
Bye.
later. See ya. I knew it was still. I was gonna